The galactic council chambers echoed with the hum of translated whispers. Every species had sent delegates, but all eyes turned toward a Terran envoy. Humanity was new to the interstellar stage, admitted less than a decade ago, and still under observation. Their world was cataloged as a Class X death world, dangerous, unpredictable, and inhospitable by galactic standards. Their rapid technological rise, fueled by desperation and ingenuity, unsettled the older empires. Humanity had chosen diplomacy over conquest. Their ambassador, Callan Ward, stood unarmed in the council hall, tall by human standards, calm in a sea of tension. He spoke with precision, presenting Earth's offer for joint development of jump gate technology. Some species listened with curiosity, others with suspicion. A few saw only a threat wrapped in cordial words. The Serothi Dominion watched with growing unease. Their empire had once stood unchallenged along the Orion Arm. The arrival of humans changed that. The Dominion's border territories began losing ground, not through war but through trade. Colonies once loyal to the Serothi defected for better Terran infrastructure and defense contracts. It wasn't aggression, it was efficiency. That made it worse. When Callan left the council to attend a diplomatic dinner, his route was broadcast for transparency. As per protocol, the escort, a mixed security detail, included both human and neutral guards. Somewhere between the core spire and the orbital platform, the signal was lost. Moments later, emergency transmissions flooded the local grid. The human diplomat had been found, lifeless. The images were clinical. No spectacle, just silence. His body was intact, untouched by traditional weapons. Instead, the biosensors confirmed a targeted neural disruptor, illegal under council law, known to be in the Serothi's black arsenal. Denials were immediate. The Dominion ambassador protested innocence, citing a false flag operation. The investigation stalled before it began. Evidence disappeared. Witnesses recanted. The council chose ambiguity over confrontation. Humanity did not. Earth's response was silence. Total and absolute. No protest, no call for justice. No response to inquiries. No presence at council meetings. The Terran embassy closed within 72 hours. On Luna, Titan, and the orbital platforms of Mars, every civilian vessel was rerouted. No explanation. Earth turned inward. Surveillance drones showed a sharp increase in interstellar ship activity across Sol. Unknown signatures appeared, larger than known models and eerily quiet. Across the galaxy, analysts speculated. Some believed humans were grieving. Others thought they were preparing a case. The Serothi dismissed both. They publicly stated the incident was tragic but inconclusive. They had done worse to other species without retaliation. They saw humans as adaptable but soft, dangerous in potential, not in posture. The Dominion resumed their expansion. Trade resumed. The Council moved on. 17 days after Callan Ward's death, the first message arrived. It came through every channel simultaneously, encrypted and unencrypted. It bypassed firewalls, protocols, and government layers. It was only 8 words. One of ours fell. Now you'll understand. A second message followed 10 minutes later. A map, detailing every known Serothi military installation, intelligence base, and political command hub. Some weren't even known to their own allies. The map had precise coordinates, updated satellite data, and personnel rosters. At hour 20, the attacks began. The first strike hit the Dominion's core data fortress orbiting Kirith 9. No approach signatures. No warning. The structure simply ceased to exist. The security feed showed only a momentary flicker, a black shape, then void. 3 seconds. The debris field was minimal. Nothing salvageable. No survivors. The council convened an emergency session. The human seat remained empty. The second strike targeted a Serothi Black Ops station buried under the oceans of Tarsus. Pressure wave sensors showed no detonation, only a sudden collapse of the facility's pressure shielding and support struts. The collapse was surgical. Dozens of operatives, including 2 of the planners involved in the assassination, were never recovered. By hour 72, 6 installations across 3 systems had been erased. The pattern was clear: precision, not destruction. Surgical neutralization. Not a single civilian was harmed. No planetary biospheres disturbed. The human response wasn't retaliation. It was removal. Intelligence analysts scoured the patterns, looking for war doctrines. There were none. These weren't declared battles. There were no demands, no negotiations. The humans had simply decided that those responsible would not exist anymore. Public sentiment shifted rapidly. Civilizations that once dismissed humanity as chaotic and reckless began broadcasting calls for neutrality. Trade embassies that had once closed doors to humans reopened them overnight. The Sorothi's allies distanced themselves with diplomatic language that barely masked fear. The Dominion responded with military deployment. Their second fleet, 1,400 ships strong, was mobilized to protect critical systems. It vanished. All data logs showed normal travel until the ships entered the shadow of the Red-Han expanse. Then nothing. No distress signals. No debris. The fleet simply disappeared. Emergency beacons activated 10 hours later, transmitting a single image. The human ambassador, Callan Ward, standing silently on a black background, eyes closed. Beneath it, coordinates to a gravesite on Earth. Panic gripped the Sorothi leadership. Internal purges began. Accusations flew. Commanders vanished. Whispers of Terran infiltration grew rampant. It wasn't just fear of human weapons. It was fear that humans already knew everything. The loss of the fleet broke their confidence. The Council ordered the Sorothi to stand down. They refused. Then their moon bases began to fall. Earth had not asked for war. It had not declared one. But one had come anyway. The most advanced empires attempted to analyze Terran war doctrine. They failed. Human fleets did not conform to any known structure. Ships operated independently but executed synchronized actions with terrifying speed. Data coordination was flawless. Some suspected AI command structures, but no patterns emerged. There were no power vacuums, no overextensions, no hubris, and always the silence. No messages, no ultimatums, just methodical eradication. The Sorothi homeworld was spared. Humans never set foot on it. Instead, orbital platforms, communications networks, and manufacturing hubs were dismantled piece by piece until Sorothi had no military infrastructure left. The message was clear. This was not revenge. It was consequence. Other species had assassinated diplomats before. Wars had been waged. But never had a single death reshaped the power map of half the galaxy. By day 30, the Council formally recognized the Terran Confederacy as a power beyond standard classification. A new category was created, strategic sovereign entity. It granted Earth the ability to act unilaterally without requiring Council approval. It was not a gift. It was a shield meant to prevent further conflict. But Earth did not reply. It didn't need to. The galaxy had heard it loud and clear. One of theirs had fallen, and Earth had made everyone understand. The Sorothi Dominion was no longer a dominion. Its fleets were dissolved, its command structures shattered. What had taken centuries to build, Earth dismantled in a month, not through conquest, but removal. The Terran Confederacy made no claims. It left ruins, not empires. In the ashes, the rest of the galaxy stood paralyzed. Power vacuums emerged. Species that had once relied on Sorothi's strength found themselves leaderless. The Okriti Syndicate, once a loyal vassal, sent envoys to Earth offering tribute. No reply came. The Graltash, longtime rivals of Sorothi, mobilized forces to occupy former Dominion systems. They reached empty space. Every logistics hub, every data core, every weapon signature had vanished. Not destroyed, removed. The humans hadn't raised these places. They had made them inert. Council intelligence agencies were overwhelmed. Surveillance outposts reported phantom signatures. Terran vessels appearing without warning, vanishing just as fast. Diplomatic channels were flooded with requests for clarity. Earth remained silent. On the fringes of former Dominion space, systems began declaring neutrality. Not independence, neutrality. They printed Terran flags beside their planetary emblems. No formal affiliation, just a signal. "We're not your enemy." The Confederacy didn't respond, but the systems were left untouched. Among the council, debates turned desperate. Was this the real face of humanity? Had their peace been a facade? The records didn't align. Earth had rejected expansionism from the start. Their colonies were modest, their military quiet, their diplomacy sincere. But that diplomacy had been shattered the moment Callan Ward died. The truth was simpler. The Terrans hadn't changed. They had always played by the rules. It was the galaxy that broke them. Inside the council's secure halls, a classified session convened. Representatives from 28 species met under closed encryption. The purpose was singular: containment, not military, diplomatic. No species wanted a war. They wanted a leash. Proposals ranged from trade embargoes to tech restrictions. None passed. There was no leverage. Earth didn't need anyone. They had never asked for permission. Still, rumors spread of Terran technologies that defied known physics. Black matter communication relays, energy-efficient fold space drives, singularity compression devices capable of bypassing dimensional shielding. Most dismissed it as fear-mongering, until a council science station near Helios Theta detected a gravity well forming in system without any celestial mass. It lasted 6 minutes, then disappeared. When probes arrived, they found a Terran data core hovering mid-space. No propulsion, no power signature. The message embedded inside: peace is preferred, silence is enforced. Fear turned to reverence. Cultures began adopting Terran customs, not by mandate, but by imitation. Their minimalist architecture, their decision protocols, even their martial doctrines found their way into training academies across 10 sectors. No formal exchange, just mimicry, because what worked for Earth had suddenly become gospel. The Serothi remnants went into hiding. Some fled to outlaw systems. Others turned mercenary. Every time they surfaced, they disappeared days later. No evidence, no aftermath, just silence. Pirates who once preyed on Terran supply lines abandoned those routes entirely. Trade along Terran-aligned sectors became the safest in the galaxy, not because of patrols, but because of deterrence. The unspoken belief: if you interfere with Earth, you vanish. Attempts to infiltrate Terran space failed catastrophically. The Varney's intelligence network, known for precision, deployed their elite shapeshifters to Luna's outer orbit. None returned. Not one signal. Their last transmission contained only a timestamp in the phrase, "observed by absence." The phrase became infamous. Philosophers debated its meaning. Was it literal? Poetic? A warning? Theories abounded, but the conclusion was clear. Terran counterintelligence wasn't defense. It was preemptive. They didn't respond to threats. They anticipated and ended them. Meanwhile, Earth remained diplomatically absent. Their embassy seats were never refilled. Their communication nodes responded only with automated messages. Stand by. Evaluation in progress. No time frames. No human voices. The Confederacy operated outside galactic expectation. On Mars, quiet construction continued. Observatories detected changes in orbital alignment. Structures too large for habitat use. Assumptions pointed to megastructures. Power draw estimates reached absurd levels. Some claimed Earth was building a new class of fleet. Others suspected interdimensional research. Council probes that approached the sector disappeared. The Council dispatched a formal envoy, non-human, high-ranking, escorted by a delegation of peacekeepers. The envoy never reached Mars. Instead, it was intercepted in deep space by a Terran AI vessel. Communication was brief. You do not inquire. You observe. Then the ship was turned around. No damage. No force. Just repositioned. Every NAV system locked until it was outside Terran space. When released, the envoy carried back a single artifact, a solid-state cube with a living map of human-influenced systems. It pulsed in time with Terran quantum relay signals. The implication was unmistakable. This is where we are. These are our boundaries. You need not come closer. A quiet war of perception began. Galactic empires scrambled to define their own lines of influence. The balance of power had shifted, not through battle, but through inertia. Humanity had anchored itself in the center of every calculation. Every treaty now included a clause, not to interfere with Terran sovereignty. Those who broke that clause never announced it. They simply ceased to participate in council affairs. No declarations, no distress calls, just void. The council learned to stop asking questions. The Terrans, for their part, resumed exploration. Unmanned vessels charted deep systems outside the galactic disk. They made no claims. But council observers noted that wherever those vessels appeared, space piracy disappeared. Conflicts dissolved. Unstable regions stabilized. No human boots ever touched ground, but their presence was felt. A single Terran AI made contact with the Xcarth Union, a species located beyond the Sagittarius barrier. The Xcarth had remained isolated for millennia. Their first recorded message to the Council was a warning. We recognize the old ones have returned. You may survive if you do not interfere. The phrase, old ones, caught the attention of historians. Records dug deep into lost civilizations. Some found parallels, myths of bipedal predators, technologically advanced and brutally logical, that vanished before the formation of the First Council, dismissed as legend until now. Was Earth the origin of something older, or had something awoken within them? On Earth, there were no parades, no celebrations. The general population continued life as normal. Their leadership remained unnamed. No central figure emerged. The Confederacy moved through consensus algorithms. Governance was decentralized, efficient, and opaque. That terrified other civilizations more than any weapon. There was no tyrant to reason with, no ideology to exploit, just a system built to persist without ego.